Hey guys, let's try this problem. Did you know that one of the most common gifts that teachers receive from their students is a book? Did you also know that most teachers do not read the book that they receive? In a random sample of 150 teachers that answered yes to the question, have you ever received a book from a student? 101 said that the book is on the shelf and has never been read. If you're wondering if I made this question up, I sure did. Construct and interpret a 99% confidence interval for the proportion of teachers who have received a book from students but have never read it. Fortunately, I read every book that I receive. All right, let's get to it. It's a 99% confidence interval for the proportion of teachers, and we have to just make sure that we understand that it's one sample because they only said n is equal to 150, and we know that x is equal to 101, and then obviously p hat is equal to x over n. So that's a good proportion. So let's figure out how to do this. Anytime we do a confidence interval, we're going to need three steps. The first step is going to be our conditions. So this conditions. We said here, let's get this here, it says that in a random sample of 150 teachers. So the stem of the problem states, if you guys are hearing sounds that are coming from outside, is because they are cheering our healthcare providers and our nurses, doctors, and everyone who has played an important role in this pandemic. I'm going to continue here. Stem of the problem states that the teachers were chosen at random, and the second part is that n times p hat and n times q hat both have to be bigger than 10. So we know that n times p hat is 101, so that's bigger than 10, and then we know that the complement would be 49, and that's bigger than 10. So we have to write down, since both np hat and nq hat are greater than 10, then the distribution is approximately normal. Okay? So they make that cheering sound every day at 7 p.m. Okay, let's continue. So I'm going to add a new page right below it. And let's say formula. Our formula is step 2. Formula. And we know that our formula for one sample is statistic plus or minus critical value times the standard deviation of the statistic. We also know that p hat is either a decimal or a fraction, not both of them. It's 99% confident, so it's going to be 2.576. That's on the bottom of your formula sheet, or you can use second VAR's inverse norm. Okay, inverse norm, and then you could get it that way also. But this is going to be on the bottom of your sheet. We know that this is 101 over 150. We also know that this is 49 over 150, and then we all know that it's over 150. Okay? So once you do that, then we have to go to our calculator. We press stat, we go to test, we go to one prop z interval. X has to be a whole number, n is a whole number, confidence level, you press calculate, you end up with this number here. Okay? Now, one thing I did want to say is that this is what we call a point estimate. Okay? We think it's somewhere here, plus or minus the margin of error. So the margin of error almost looks like it's going to be plus, this can probably be written as like this here, right? Because 0.67 plus 0.10 makes 0.77. 0.67 minus 0.10 is, so this is called our margin of error, okay? So 0.57 to 0.77. So you just put that here, okay, 0.77. And then we say conclusion, or interpretation rather. Interpretation. And we just say, based on these samples, we are 99% confident that the true proportion, right? It's not an average. So the true proportion of teachers who receive a book but don't read it, is between, is between 0.57 and 0.77. So I hope that was good and nice and easy and you guys understand all of it. You can leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe. You can just review it. Try the problem by yourself. Make sure that you know how to press all the buttons and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for your time.